Assalamu alaikum. This is Introduction to Business Law and Ethics for the 14th batch FC 507, the course code. So, over the next few weeks, we'll be diving deep into the intricate world of business law and ethics. This course is actually designed to equip you with the knowledge and analytical skills needed to navigate the complex legal and ethical landscape of the business world. So our first session lays the foundation for everything that follows in the next sessions. Understanding the basics of business law and ethics is crucial, as these principles will guide many of your decisions in the corporate world. So starting with the first question, do you know what is business law? So usually we know what is law that we need to abide by, but what about business law? What should we abide by when we are establishing a new business or we are doing an existing business of our own and we are not following the law because we don't know about it at all. So we should know about what is business law, what are the scopes of that law, what is the role of business law, and what is the difference between other types of law. So moving on to the actual definition and scope of business law, which is often called as commercial law. It governs the dealings between people and commercial matters. It encompasses areas like contracts, employment law, and real estate. So we know about contract, right? Business law governs contract formation, interpretation, and enforcement that we do, or it can also be called as agreement between parties. What about employment law? What about employment law? Regulations surrounding employment, such as labor standards, discrimination laws, and workplace safety, are integral components of business law. So it is also governed by the business law. There can also be other types of law, other types of items that can be included as business law, which can be intellectual property, real estate, commercial transactions, corporate governance. Everything are under the area of business law. So what about the role of this business law? It serves as a regulatory framework ensuring that businesses operate within established legal boundaries, which also provides mechanisms for dispute resolution. So a law needs to be there when two parties collide with each other, fight against each other legally. So the law is a binding rule that cannot be broken or cannot be bypassed. So what is the major difference from other laws? We can also say criminal law versus business law. So criminal law is actually deals with offenses against the state, as everyone knows. The business law focuses on matters between businesses and individuals or other businesses. So it also ensures fairness in commerce. So why should we study business law? Let's discuss the major importances of business law. First one is to ensure fairness in the market, where a level playing field is ensured by preventing unfair practices. It also ensures that consumer protection is properly maintained, and no business can cheat their consumers with fake marketing or fake products or low quality products if a law is bounding them. So how about protecting stakeholders, safeguarding their rights, employees' rights, consumer trust, their loyalty, vendors and suppliers' rights, everything, all those things are protected by the law, if there is any. And also business law, commercial law helps the transaction process, standardizing it, giving it more clarity and transparency, and also it makes the process very much efficient and effective and very swift to deal with. So these are the basic importances of business law. Let's move on to our next part of this course, is the business ethics, and we'll also learn about its definition, scope, its difference from morality. So let's see. Business ethics refers to the moral standards and principles that can be guided in the world of business, meaning that how you behave, how should you behave in business world is guided by the moral principles and standards, and those are referred to as business ethics. It's about discerning what's right and what's wrong from the perspective of business context. As an individual, you can always say I'm ethical or I'm moral if you're doing things right. Okay, so if you decide that this is right and this is wrong, and also implementing it in business might not be always similar to another person, because perspectives may vary, personality differs. So what you think is right, another 10% can say that that's not right. So you need to see the ethical standards, ethical guidelines, moral principles for that particular context. So while morals are personal beliefs about what's right or wrong, ethics are standards set by a group, like a profession or business, about acceptable behaviors in business. So that's the major difference between those two. So why should we study business ethics? Is there any importance of it? Of course. What about building a trust, ensuring sustainability of the company, attracting talent, new talents, of course, building customer loyalty, and finally legal and regulatory compliance. If we do not maintain an ethical position, can we build trust among the stakeholders? I'm sure we can't. If we are not ethical in our practices, we cannot ensure sustainable practices, we cannot ensure customer loyalty, we cannot attract new talents, and of course legal and regulatory compliances will not be accurately maintained. So what about the intersection of law and ethics? Can one overlap the other one? So let's see an example of legal but not ethical. So if we read out these instances, there are some instances where actions may be legal but not necessarily ethical. For instance, a company might legally pay workers the minimum wage, but ethically, considering their high profits or large margins, they might be expected to pay a living wage. That means if my profit is very high but I'm giving my workers or my employees a very minimum wage, it is legal, but ethically I can do more for them, so it can be unethical. So is there any role of ethics in shaping laws? Of course. Public outcry or public questions or public protests over unethical but legal practices can lead to new laws. For example, environmental concerns have led to stricter regulations on pollution in many developed countries. So let's talk about our new challenges in business law and ethics. There are major two shifts in the last decade. One is globalization, where we can see that in a globalized world, businesses often operate across jurisdictions with varying laws and ethical standards. So this can pose challenge in ensuring consistent and ethical practices. As technological advancement Rapid tech advancements can outpace legal requirements. For example, laws around data privacy are still catching up to the technological capabilities. Hackers can hack your PC or your mobile instantly, but detecting them and punishing them to do that, the laws are not that much up to date. So thank you for today's class. We will be continuing this chapter in our next session, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.